Dude, I just when I thought I had the meta figured out, we ran all the numbers, everything looked great, the guns are incredible, and don't get me wrong, from our previous loadout video, those guns are amazing, but some things just creeped up out of the woodwork that no one expected, and they're going to take over the meta. Because listen, guys, it's holiday break, okay? None of this stuff is going to get patched unless it literally cripples the game. It doesn't matter if it's significantly better than what everyone else is using. So while I'm sick and tired of making loadout videos, you all need to know about these weapons because they're pretty cool. There's some pretty unique mechanics that make them so powerful, and you don't want to go through the holiday season without the meta gun in your hand. So I'm going to provide to you 7 new weapons that have appeared out of the woodwork and are dominating the meta that you need to check out this holiday season. Let's get into it with weapon number 1. You guys may remember the SVA 545 is actually like the AN94 from Verdansk. And if you remember, the first 2 bullets shoot faster than the rest of what comes out of the magazine. So it would be like bum, 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 bum. So listen. You can pick up on it, those first 2 bullets come out faster. Well, for some reason in this game, when we swap over to single fire, we know our bullets magically do more damage. If you're ever running low on ammo on like an AR and you're trying to shoot at someone across the map, maybe you have 30 bullets left, throw it into single fire. Those bullets will do more damage in single fire than they do in full auto because realism. Well, when we pull this gun into single fire, watch what happens. Instead of shooting 44 bullets down to the bottom right, down to 43, we tap it 1 time, and we shoot 2 bullets, 2 bullets, 2 bullets, which turns this gun not only into doing more damage per bullet, a rapid fire burst with 0 recoil. It's like the nastiest DMR I've ever seen. Yeah. And with 60 rounds, great movement speed, a snappy ADS, and 0 recoil, it is a problem across the map. Let's go ahead and check out the build. So we're rocking the Spirit Fire Suppressor. That basically gets rid of all recoil. You could throw on the Sonic Suppressor if you would like. The SVT Precision Barrel is going to help out with damage range and recoil control. The Corio's Eagle Eye is growing on me. It just has so little visual recoil. Most people are using it for that reason. The 60 round mag, you could rock 45 if you're rocking solos. And then the high grain round is going to help us out with additional bullet velocity, which is going to make this gun feel even more hit scan. Make sure you guys are taking a screenshot. All right, let's get on to number 2. But first, how would you guys like to earn some extra cash this holiday season by playing Warzone? With today's sponsor, Repeat.gg, that is possible. They are a tournament platform owned by PlayStation with API access approved by Activision to run free-to-enter tournaments for Call of Duty Warzone. They've given away over $20,000 per month, and they plan to do even more. And right now, there is a holiday tournament going on for $5,000. It is free to enter. It automatically tracks the scores for you, so it's an effort-free way to just sign up. And hey, depending on where you place on the leaderboard, you could earn up to hundreds of dollars just by playing your favorite game. And the nice thing is there's points for both kills, placement, and even damage done, so your best games will be automatically calculated, brought to the leaderboard that is constantly updated, and you can maybe find yourself with some extra cash. If you guys are interested in joining this tournament, check out the link in the pinned comment and the description, and thank you again to Repeat.gg for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so moving on to number 2, it's another one of those double tap guns. So we got the double tap SVA 545, and now you might be thinking, Isaac, a pistol? Come on, man. It's bad. Okay, we know the WSP Swarm has been the meta weapon of choice. People are using that inside of tournaments. Aiden just won a $25,000 tournament using strictly the WSP Swarm as his main SMG. Well, this bad boy right here kills 100 milliseconds faster than the WSP Swarm. And you might be thinking, Isaac, a pistol? Well, it has a binary trigger. For those of you who don't know what a binary trigger is, it's something we have in real life, and it's whenever we shoot the gun, whenever we shoot like any rifle, pistol, when you pull the trigger once, it shoots. When you release the trigger, it shoots again. So then you take that with a gun with minimal recoil and a fast fire rate, and now all of a sudden we've turned just kind of a dinky regular pistol to a very, very deadly SMG with great movement speed, great reload, great aim down sight, and of course, most importantly, a horrifying time to kill. Let's go ahead and take a look at the build. So most important thing is down here all the way at the very bottom, we want the conversion kit. We have the 40 round drum magazine. We have the triport, which is going to help us out a lot with that recoil gun kick, because as we're doing those double shots, we don't want our screen going all crazy. We have the slate reflector for a cleaner sight picture, and then the dynamic precision stock, once again, to help out with that recoil control. But this one's going to be a problem inside of the game. Make sure you run it before all your opponents do. As I'm giving those thumbs up and you guys are taking that screenshot, make sure you do subscribe here. Stay up to date, because I don't want to spoon feed you gun by gun by gun over here on the main channel. I really want to provide as much value as I can. If you appreciate that, make sure to subscribe here, because I give you all the value up front in dense, action-packed videos. Let's move on to the next, okay? We have the TAC Eradicator. This is a great gun for people who want minimal recoil, okay? Look at this thing. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that. It is a really clean iron sight for those of you that played Warzone 2 and like things like the TAC V and the TAC 5.6. Well, this is the LMG version of it. And like, I'm not even trying to, like, obviously if I was strafing and I was getting rotational aim assist, things would be a lot easier. But dude, this gun is like one of the easiest guns to use inside of the game, even for mouse and key. Okay, going into the build, you would go here. You're going to throw on the Spirit Fire suppressor. Once again, my top two suppressors are the Spirit Fire and the Sonic. The Sonic does not hurt our ADS. As you see, when we go down here, the Sonic suppressor does not hurt our ADS, but it hurts our recoil control. So when we go over to the Spirit Fire hurts our ADS, but it also helps out with our recoil. So it's kind of up to you, personal preference, where you find yourself controlling recoil. Those are usually my go-to when it comes to suppressors. For this gun, it's our long-range AR. We want to have the least amount of recoil as possible. And then for our SMGs, we can go a little bit more for speed. From there, we throw on the Bruin Heavy Support Grip because it takes away so much of that horizontal shake. We throw on the Long Barrel to help out with bullet velocity and damage range. The Core Stock that helps out once again with recoil. And then the Combat Grip again helps out with all that recoil as well, bringing us all together into this build right here. This one's great time to kill, but more importantly, a lot of times when it comes to guns like these, there is time to kill and then there's effective time to kill, right? How can I actually line up enough shots to where the gun is good? Because some guns may have amazing time to kill, like the Lockman 7.62, but if you can't hit those successive shots, then that time to kill means nothing. This is a beam worth using. Moving on, this is a speed demon worth using. I've seen a lot of builds going around with the Striker, and I gotta say, I mean, call me biased, I think mine is the best, okay? Striker has become one of the favorite guns across the map right now because of its insane movement speed, but also it has a much better damage drop-off. Now, I would consider this to be a little bit more of a high-skill gun, okay? It has a tiny bit of recoil, more than what, most people are used to with their SMGs, but look at this aim-down sight strafe speed. When you are shooting at people, it makes a world of difference to be able to strafe inside and outside of cover. You're actually snapping aim assist while you're strafing mid-fight, and it just allows you to strafe into cover, strafe out of cover, and of course, I'm shooting back here. Always be careful whenever you're shooting here. All this incandescent lighting makes the visual recoil look awful. When you're in map, the only other time I see lighting like this is smack dab in the middle of the gulag. So when you're shooting your guns, make sure you're shooting them here, because that'll actually give you a realistic representation of what it's going to shoot like, feel like in terms of visual recoil. Back here, very jarring. Up here, honestly, I think it's very controllable, and I am schmoovin' with this gun on the map. This is a little bit more of a higher skilled player's gun, but I love it. Okay, 48 round mag because we need a little more damage per mag. The hand stop allows us to get even more movement speed, which we're well familiar with at this point. We have the Sonic suppressor for the reasons of more mobility without hurting our ADS. We have the slate reflector because I hate the iron sights on this gun, and then the no stock just helps out so much with our movement speed. If you're struggling, you can consider throwing on something like maybe the light stock, which doesn't hurt your ADS as much, or which doesn't hurt your recoil as much, but it does still give you those benefits on the sprint speed. But for me, if I'm going for a full movement speed build, I'm throwing on the no stock. Make sure you guys take a screenshot right now, and again, change out that no stock as you see fit. Moving on to number 5. Like I said, a lot of the guns that we covered in the previous video are still viable. That video will be linked at the end of today's video. None of those weapons are irrelevant. They're still incredible guns, but a few of these are definitely worth checking out on top of those. The meta's in a pretty good spot. We don't have anything super broken like the one-shot shotgun or the snake shots. There's one that we'll talk about here in a moment that still kind of needs some attention. But without further ado, This one actually surprised me. I wasn't tracking this at all. This one's purely courtesy of the homie True Game Data. He is a brilliant-minded and excellent resource in the community. He data mines all of the weapons' actual damage values and runs them through calculations, and has figured out that the DG58 is actually one of the most consistent time to kill weapon ARs in the game. And the best part about it, and this is not the DG56, the burst fire, this is the LMG, this is the LSW, DG58 LSW. And take a look at the shots, okay? One, this gun has pretty decent time to kill, but when you get one headshot, the time to kill goes through the roof. But sometimes it's tough to get headshots. Well, not with a gun with as minimal recoil as this. Keep in mind, this is with the Schlager sight that I'm using right here. If you're like most people and you prefer the Koryo's Eagle's Eye, which has significantly less visual recoil, I mean, I don't know what's easier to control, this or the TAC Eradicator. Like, both of these are just absolute laser beams all the way across the map. And it's a great time to kill, especially if you get one headshot. It makes the time to kill incredible. Okay, we have the recoil reduction stock for the reasons that it says. The Koryo's Eagle's Eye, the Woody Long Barrel, which helps out with damage range and recoil control. Sonic Suppressor, the Bruin Heavy Support Grip. It is an LMG, so the ADS is already a little bit long. If you want to control that recoil even more, you could go for something like the Spirit Fire, but I'm rocking Sonic Suppressor for this specific build. And this is the build that I think you should try out, because if I trust anyone's vouch, it's True Game Data. He ran the numbers, and it's supposed to be a really solid pick. Moving on to number 6, I wanted to include something in here for the people that don't have all the MW3 weapons max level. I included some of those in my previous loadout video. You can check that out after today's video, but there's another one that kind of came out of the woodwork that no one was expecting that is very, very inside the meta. It is the ISO 9mm. Nice thing is, you can pick this thing up across the map. It's a very common ground loot item, but most people are leaving it behind for like a WSP Swarm or, you know, some significantly worse SMGs, and they shouldn't. It's a great SMG. It's a beam, great movement speed, very reliable time to kill. And for the people that don't have the MW3 weapons leveled up, give the ISO 9mm a try. It has less recoil than the ISO 45, and much like the other guns that we were using, it has a very reliable strafe speed, minimal visual recoil, and I'm enjoying this inside of the game. Anytime I see it as a ground loot, it's one of my go-to guns. So we have the Sonic Suppressor. We're going to get flashbanged by the gold. We have the 9mm high ground round, which is going to give us more bullet velocity to help reach our targets at medium range. We have the Slate Reflector for a better aim down sight picture, the 50-round drum mag, and then I throw on the Demo Fade TAC because it helps out so much with our movement speed, and the ADS movement speed is where it really gets me, right? The ADS movement speed of plus 11% takes us from 3.1 all the way up to 3.5, and that makes a huge difference for strafing in and out in those SMG gunfights, and that's what I really value. And then finally, the 7th weapon that came out of the woodwork. Well, actually, I do want to point out, we mentioned the WSP Swarm in my previous video, and it is, like I mentioned, the gun that Aiden used to win a tournament. It's the gun that most people use because it has such a reliable TTK, and honestly, for me, especially as a mouse and key player, the best hit registration. I have issues with a lot of other SMGs up close of where mouse and key feels terrible. For some reason, the WSP Swarm for me hits. Over on my third channel, where I post perfected gun builds, I have 2 gun builds for the WSP Swarm. One is the build that Aiden, you guys know, one of the top earners in Warzone, gave me that build and said, Isaac, this is mine. I like it. I was loving it. But then I built my own that I think is even better. So if you've been struggling with the WSP Swarm build, go check out my video over on the third channel. That one is gold. I'm thrilled. And the gameplay is awesome to go along with it. But the gun that I think most people are still sleeping on, and I see people trolling me when I mention it. They're like, Isaac, the MTZ, it got nerfed. That gun is terrible. Well, listen, I understand it. No longer 2-shot headshots anymore, but it's still unbelievably powerful. And the fact that you get 20 rounds in the ability with one headshot to do like 145 damage. You may not be 2-shotting people, but you can 1-shot, chest shot, or like 2 shots to the chest anywhere on the body. If you're playing in a squad, I'm telling you, this, out of all the guns in Warzone right now, I still think over the pistol, over anything that we've covered, over any of the zero recoil stuff, over even the SVA single fire, but it's actually a double fire. This is still a problem, and a lot of people are still begging for it to get nerfed. I understand it is a TAC rifle. I understand. I think snipers belong in the game. I like one-shot snipers, but this, gentlemen, is still just an absolute problem. Keep in mind, these are the bots that don't have 3 plates, but it's so powerful at range. Like, one headshot, 2 body shots, and you can just spam and spam and spam. And the fact that you can just peek your head up once and all your plates are gone, it's straight up not a good time. Okay, and if you're not using it, I really don't want you to use it. But if you need to sweat, pull it out, gentlemen. Pull it out. I used to rock the Ares clear shot. I think it's kind of a cool sight because it allows me to see down range really far with a really clean dot sight. It's got strong aim assist. It basically turns this thing into a mini sniper. Most people end up rocking the Corio's Eagle's Eye. Take your shot as, you know, for what you want. We have the Blackthorn Barrel, which you already know helps out with the damage range, bullet velocity. Spirit Fire helps out with that recoil control. Heavy support grip, we already know how good it is with horizontal. And then the 20-round mag. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are taking a screenshot of any of these builds real quick, tap that screen, drop a like, drop a subscription, because we're gonna have all the news that you need to know about Warzone. It finally feels good to be excited to play Warzone again. There's a massive skill gap in the game. There is so much to learn, and I have so many guides storyboarded out in the works, but it has been a crazy month over at the household with a 9-month pregnant wife, with some family issues and some stuff happening that I'm not even going to get into, but life is good, the game is good, and we have so much content coming down the pipeline. So make sure you're subscribed and here for that. If your passion is there to the next level, make sure to check out the sponsor of today's video, repeat.gg. Get in there, it's free to play. And who knows, if there's enough interest, maybe the Academy will have their very own cash prize tournament in the future. Shout out again to them for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you check out my perfect WSP Swarm build over on the 3rd channel. If you missed my previous loadout video, there are some amazing builds for the Pull-In Yacht, for the Cat, for so many more, the Bass. Check out all the content I've got to offer, okay? Hope you guys enjoy this one. See you all on the next one. Peace.